On several occasions, we have talked about whining in children. Why the emphasis? First, whining is a key component in so many of the getting and protecting behaviors, all of which are harmful to our children. When they're angry, there's always an element of whining and victimhood underlining the anger. When they have a snotty attitude, whining is a huge component. Withdrawing is a form of whining, even without sound. Victimhood is whining, so key component. I suggest a simple and powerful way to see whining. If there is a problem to be solved, either 1, you're doing something constructive about it, or 2, you're discussing what constructive action you're going to take, or 3, you're whining about it. So we're surrounded by a lot of whining from children and adults. We might call it complaining, but it's still whining and it's all poison. Second reason to talk about whining is that there are so many variations on it. Kids come up with hundreds of ways to whine. They don't seem to get tired of being creative here, each time hoping that it will successfully get them what they want. A mother wrote me and said, "I'm almost done with the parenting training, and I can see clearly that real love is the answer to everything I've always wondered. But putting it into practice is not always so easy. My 4-year-old daughter, Lilly, still whines quite a bit. Mom, this is no criticism of you. Practicing real love is only difficult if, first, you have not felt unconditionally loved yourself, which is normal in our world. We want to believe that we were loved that way, but we were wounded far too much by disappointment and anger. If you don't feel loved, you can't help but communicate disappointment and anger to your children, so then they resist you and whine, for example. And then it seems like practicing real love is difficult. Another reason it seems difficult, too, is if you're not utterly consistent. Your daughter's continued whining proves what? That she whines a lot? No, it proves your inconsistency. She remembers every time that you allow her to whine. You allow her to whine 1 out of 20 times, she'll remember that. And she takes that as permission to whine the next time. Until you're absolutely consistent, she will continue the whining that always got her what she wanted. If you're consistent, it might be more difficult for a few days, yes, but then life becomes much easier. That's the problem. Nearly all parents are not willing to experience a little discomfort now to prevent a lot of discomfort later. So then they're guaranteed to get a child who whines and acts like a victim and ends up in all kinds of behavior problems for their entire childhood and often adulthood. You have years of experience to prove that being inconsistent doesn't work. I suggest a different perspective. You believe she whines at you. You take it personally. But no, this child was simply taught by you, ironically, to get what she wants by whining. Now, you're changing direction. Imagine that you're on a journey and you discover that you've taken a wrong turn. You can whine about it, fall to the ground, and have a screaming, fist-pounding fit. But what good is that? If you've taken the wrong turn, all you need to do is determine a new course and keep going. Simple. Be casual. When Lilly whines, see her differently. She's just confused because you taught her wrong. So you say, "Oh, I thought you wanted to go outside," but if you're whining about it, you can't have anything you whine about. So I guess you don't want to go outside. You say this almost amused. She has to understand that she is choosing the consequence that comes with whining. You're not imposing it. She's choosing it. This will take practice on your part. You need more time with other adults where you tell the truth about your failings and feel unconditionally seen, accepted, and loved. Without that love, you'll tend to become impatient and communicate, "I don't love you," to her. And then she'll whine even more. You can't give what you don't have. You wrote, "Sometimes she whines for me to carry her. For 1 or 2 days, I told her that I was not going to answer her if she's whining, but she just got more upset and started crying, really crying. And I just waited for her to stop. There's more to teaching a child about whining than just consistency. There's always lots of things that we have to learn. That's the way life goes. You got it right when you say that you refuse to reward the whining, but you've unwillingly or unwittingly changed don't reward the whining to do nothing when she whines. You just stood there and waited for her to stop. That's not quite the point. You always have to be loving and teaching. So how could you do that? Let's say that she's standing there whining to be picked up. If you simply stand there with a stoic look on your face and refuse to pick her up, she will feel unloved because the only kind of love she knows from you is getting what she demands. You taught her that definition of love. So now you have to increase the love toward her, the real stuff. It will take more time in the beginning, but it pays off hugely and soon. You kneel down beside her. You look into her eyes. You require that she look into your eyes too. Touch her. Tell her that you love her and that you want to pick her up. But from now on, there will be no more whining. None. She can't just cry and try not to whine. No, the whining has to stop. And you help by kneeling there eye to eye until she settles down, which won't take long if you do this soon and consistently, and until she can really ask you to pick her up without whining and demanding. You can carry her only after the whining tone is gone. If she whines again the same day to pick her up, same day as that you talk to her about whining, you explain that you can't pick her up again all that day because she whined twice. She'll understand. You give her a second chance like that when she's asking for you, like pick her up. But if she whines even once for an object, like a snack, you tell her that now she can't have that snack for the whole day. So a little distinction between a thing and you, small distinction. Otherwise, they learn to keep whining. If you reward them with the thing later that day, what they do is they just space out their whining until eventually they get what they want. So if they whine for a thing once, that's it. They don't get it. So Mom said, do I have to stay with her until she stops whining? No, in fact, it's usually good not to stay with her, even though you get down on your knees and you talk to her and you tell her you want to pick her up. But eventually you leave, because if she keeps whining and you stay with her, she'll learn to whine to get your attention. You leave her when she's whining and say that she can come and find you and talk to you when she's done. If you really do what I'm saying consistently, the change happens faster than you can imagine. One mother said this: when I started the no whining thing, my kids looked at me like I was crazy, but they stopped whining in 1 day. It was amazing. End quote. Yeah, the beginning is unfamiliar to you, but do it. Everything in this video, and you'll find that it works. If you're inconsistent or unloving, you'll lose. You can do it.